I am becoming more and more convinced that 98% of the business gurus online are full of shit. Let's be real, they sell you a dream, they overpromise, they buy fake engagement and bots to make themselves look popular so they can sell you something. The only thing they have built is a course teaching you how to make money so it makes them money. No real experience, no actual business wins, just hype. But I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. In fact, I don't even sell a course. What I'm gonna show you today is how I turned £11 into 30 grand for a real brick and mortar business using persuasion techniques in just a few hours of my time. It's not theory, it's not tricks, it's actual strategy and psychology that I've used in the real world. And this was back in 2014, before I even knew what persuasion was. Back in 2014, I was an assistant manager of one of the biggest pub chains in the whole of the UK. So think hundreds of locations, and they do hundreds and hundreds of millions per year. Here's a picture of me when I was an assistant manager. You can see me looking all cool with no facial hair whatsoever in these photos. For part of my role, it meant that I would have to step in to various different pub businesses and run them while the main manager was away. So in 2014, I was in this pub business where this manager was away, and it was coming up to Christmas time, which, as you know, working in the pub, restaurant, bar industry, it is one of the busiest times of year. That, you know, Christmas period is pretty horrendous if you are working in that industry at that point. So there was a lot of stress on me already, and I didn't just want to hold down the fort and give it back to the manager when he got back. I actually wanted to impress him, because I saw it as an opportunity for me to, you know, not only take care of this pub, which was an extremely busy pub, it did millions per year, but I actually wanted to increase the sales, break the records over Christmas, any sales records and things like this, and hand it back to him, because I thought I might get some like career growth out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's a part of my plan to break the sales records and things and to add more money onto the business was that we were already taking Christmas bookings at that time of year. So people, you know, work parties, families, and that could come in and have their Christmas meal, a place to sit, you know, a place to bring all the family and friends while they sat around, ate cheap Christmas dinner and had a catch up and things like this. And I thought to myself, maybe I can grow that side of the business and get more bookings through the door for this business than ever before. So what I did, I reached out to this flyer design company, and this is in September 2014. I said basically, hey, you know, can you design me a flyer so I can try and give people in, you know, my local area a flyer to let them know we're actually having a Christmas party and to invite them. And I gave them all these instructions here, and they sent me back some, you know, great designs, and I paid literally like £11 for it. And this is the design they actually came up with. Fantastic design, right? At least I thought it was at the time. And so I got this flyer, I paid 11 quid for it. I printed loads of these flyers off in this pub. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna go outside with all these flyers and try and hand them to people as they're walking past, in the hopes that, you know, it kind of advertises the business a little bit. Anyway, I did this strategy. I went outside, I handed flyers to various people, and I could see them read them and then put them in the bin as they were down the street. They thought they were out of my view, and I guess they were just being polite when they were taking the flyer from me. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna have to adjust my strategy a little bit. Now, I just wanna tell you guys, I didn't know anything apart. I knew how to operate a business, right? I got operator experience before I got promoter experience. I didn't know anything about persuasion whatsoever. What I did next was pure luck, just based on me kind of falling forward, if you know what I mean. So I thought to myself, I'm never going to shift these flyers, and if I do shift them, it's going to go to a bunch of people who are walking past the pub business who are basically not even interested at all in essentially, you know, coming in and having a Christmas meal there. They're just humoring me, they just don't want to be rude, and they're just taking the flyers from me and they're literally putting them in the bin. What can we do instead? And I thought to myself, you know what, the area which I am at the moment, I wonder if I can go to the businesses, because there's a lot of like independent shops and businesses all surrounding the pub business. I wonder if I can go into these places and try to encourage them to basically come and have their Christmas party at where my business was, right? So this is the pub business right here that I used to work in. And if you have a scroll around, you can see that we have like a place here. Some of these shops have shut down now, but we had like there's a big business here. We go down the road a little bit. You can see there's various different businesses all going down here, all along here as well. But because we weren't like a cocktail bar or anything like that, I deliberately picked businesses where they sold basically lower ticket items. I didn't go to any high-end places because I thought, if you think about people and how they act, a place which sells high ticket items like a luxury car dealership or something like that, no doubt pays their employees a higher price, a higher wage. And these places could probably afford big cocktail bars and, really expensive nights out for the Christmas parties. But I knew that places that sell lower ticket items will no doubt have a very set Christmas budget at Christmas. So I'll just go into them instead. And all those businesses I've just showed you all fit that category there. Now, this is very important because I got rejected on the street before and I had a bunch of people who humored me. I felt that like people needed to take me more seriously when I walked into businesses, and people would only take me seriously if I came in with gifts. So what I did was we had these vouchers hidden in the back, right, that we could give out to customers every now and again. So they could get like money off food, money off drinks as well. And what I would do was I took this like whole booklet of vouchers and I planned to go into each of these businesses and hand them across to them to essentially say, hey, you can get discounted stuff as well. And this discounted stuff they could get didn't have to be essentially when they came in for that booking night. They could just spend it any time, whenever they wanted. But I wanted to bring them a gift like this. Now, I didn't realize at the moment, but I was doing something very, very persuasive. I was just trying to not get shut out, but basically I was doing something very, very persuasive, and we'll break that down in just a moment. But I went into each of these businesses, and when I'd walk in, I'd say, hey, is the manager around? I'd try and speak to the manager. If I couldn't find a decision maker, or if I found just a member of staff, I knew they probably won't pass on the message, so I just left and I came back at a different time. But I'd go into these places and I'd say, hey, when I would speak to the manager, I'd say, we're taking bookings at the moment for, the various different local businesses in this area, and we're approaching you guys first because we know that we're going to get busy at Christmas times. The Christmas bookings are going to be full. Availability is going to be limited and things like this. All of these things were true, but we never really were constantly booked every single day. But I still said that because I was just trying to be transparent with them. But what I was actually doing was something very persuasive as well, right? So I'd say this to them and they would say, we haven't really booked anything yet. We've not really thought about it. It's only October at the moment. It's 2 months away. And I'd say, you know what? These months come around really fast. We've got our phone number on this flyer that you can give us a ring on. I would do it sooner rather than later because you know what Christmas is like. We get bombarded with people coming in, which is all true. And as I was about to leave, I'd also say, hey, I've also got this booklet of vouchers for you as well. It's just a gift from us. You don't need to give anything back to us. These discounts can be used at any point throughout the Christmas period. It doesn't have to be used if you booked with us or not. You don't have to book with us, but you can come in, have a drink, get some money off your drinks, come in, have some food, get some money off your food as well. And it's just a gift from us because we know that everyone's money is tight around Christmas time, right? Now, I did this exact same approach for a whole bunch of businesses around the area. I just kept walking and walking and walking up the street and going to various different businesses until basically I ran out of vouchers that I could give away, right? And nobody at that point they'd shown interest, but I actually thought it didn't work at all. And I came, back to my shift and carried on my shift and, just thought like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this, right? Now, over the next few weeks, we got the most amount of bookings ever for the Christmas period. We got so many different businesses coming in to have, food and drink there. And because the price was so cheap, what people would do, because it's the pub business, and you guys probably understand this if you've ever been to a pub, right, is that people come in for something cheap or, something quick to eat or a little gathering, right, and they end up spending loads of money in there because basically they're all getting drunk and they're having a really good time, right, and, the staff are upselling them and they're upselling themselves and they're ordering dessert as well, which they never planned to have, and they're also getting 20 different shots to the table, right, and it goes on and on and on. I must have spent just a few hours that day flyering various different businesses, literally hitting one for 5 minutes, next hitting another one, next hitting another one, with this strategy that I was just throwing things at a wall and hoping it will stick. And we'll break down the strategy in just a second. But basically that strategy added somewhere between 30 to 35 grand just for a few hours of work to that business over the period of like a Christmas booking period, which was like around about 1 to 2 weeks. So we hit all the records for food within those few weeks. We'd never taken as many Christmas bookings as we did then. So let's have a look at the strategy. Let's break down exactly why it was so persuasive and why it worked so well. I should totally charge for this, but to be honest with you, there's so much fake advice out there that I just think that you guys need to know, like, this is possible and this works well. So what did I do first of all? Number one, I got the right target audience. I strategically went to the businesses around which I thought weren't that high-end businesses that would probably like to be pitched on some sort of discount, Christmas do. Because employers and managers of those various different businesses, they did want to treat their staff to a Christmas party, but we all know just how tough budgets are in various different businesses. And when they don't make an awful lot of money, or they aren't selling really high ticket items, they want the best value for money. So I knew that the businesses I was going to were going to be receptive to the message of getting the best value for money. Okay, so that's number one. When I went in there, I did something very important. Can you remember it? I took a gift which was a bunch of different vouchers where they could just get drinks off. There wasn't any obligation to pay me back whatsoever. They just got these vouchers which would give them discounts on food and drink. And I didn't do any sort of weird rules where it would be like, you can only spend these vouchers if you come in for the Christmas party on this night. I didn't do any of that. I says, hey, there's a bunch of vouchers. You feel free to, try the pub out and see if you like it. And if you do like it, feel free to book a Christmas party with us. But here's some money off your drinks in the meantime, right? And money off your drinks and food. The vouchers in the book was worth like a lot of money. So that enabled something called reciprocity, where they thought, you know what, this guy has actually given us a gift and we feel like almost we owe him something. Reciprocity is the art of persuasion where when you do a favor for someone, they feel they need to do a favor back for you. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I see terms of reciprocity thrown around online. And it is a little bit more complicated than that, how it works. But essentially, that's what happened in that scenario. When I went in and pitched the business owners, I was telling them about how I wanted to come to them first because they were our local businesses just around the pub, and essentially said to them, hey, you know what? Why don't you come to us and get booking now, because it's likely that it's going to be, quite busy in a few weeks and people will start booking up, which is a very true message. And I was like, I want you guys to have like the widest range of dates available for you to book at your own comfort, right? Before things start getting busy. So this was an effective message for a few different reasons. One, it was true, right? The pub did get busy. It never got as busy as when I did all this flyer and stuff, but it did get busy around that time of year. And these guys know it would have got busy because everywhere is busy at that time of year. Secondly, I basically put the place in demand by framing it as like that. I said there's almost limited availabilities on seats, essentially. And it was done in a really ethical way. Not only did I do that, did you watch something else I did? I social proofed the entire thing. This was all completely by accident. Social proof is that it's like reviews, testimonials. It's the persuasive principle that people tend to do the things which other people tend to do, right? So when I came across with the message like, I want to come to you guys first before it gets too busy, I was telling them that, look, it's going to be very busy. That means lots of people are choosing this venue as well, which means you should choose it. That was the subtext. Now, I did these messages completely by accident. I had no idea what persuasion was, right? I just kind of put a few things together and chucked it at a wall, but it's only years later, I mean, that was 2014, it's only years later when I've got a good understanding of persuasion, good understanding of marketing and things like this, that I've realized just how effective I accidentally made this message and how you can as well. So think about it. This flyer right here, this bright, colorful flyer, cost me only £11. And from that £11, I managed to turn that into somewhere between 30 to 35 grand. I can't remember the exact amount because it was years ago. But we broke all food records and I added on a shitload to the business. And no, I didn't get anywhere near the amount of appreciation as I thought I deserved in that. And that is kind of the story of working in the corporate world, right? You don't really get that much appreciation for any big wins that you get. I never got any real commission or anything like that for it. I think I got a little bit of commission, but nothing spectacular, nothing to shout home at. But if that was my own business back then and I had an established pub or restaurant, that same thing would have worked. And guess what? I would have been able to pocket between 30 to 35 grand or whatever I managed to increase sales by back then. This can be done in your business right now. The money is in your local area, the local businesses that you are just one conversation away from going and chatting to and getting their business. I hope you found this video very interesting, but I thought it was an interesting story to tell because I knew nothing about persuasion, but only years later can I see and look back on that scenario and be like, you know what, that was actually pretty good what I did there. Little naive young me actually did something really good. It does take a bit of balls to pull it off though, you know, going and approaching people cold and offering something. I recommend you take a gift because then it breaks the ice and makes it a little bit more comfortable for you. But if you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, leave me a comment. We'll talk soon about adding millions onto various different businesses and some more things that I've done, you know, later on in my career as well. And hopefully you can get some takeaways from this. But I want to put this video out just to see how you respond to it, see if you like things like this. Anyway, guys, take it easy. See you in the next video. Leave a comment.